What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Citizen Collection. Here to give you guys my thoughts, my views, my opinions on all things hip hop, culture, faith, sports, entertainment, politics. Here to give you guys my journalistic viewpoints and my journalistic perspectives from a 10+ year journalist. I want to give you guys media insights and outlooks that you may or may not be thinking about already. And today, I will be discussing the recent J. Cole press run. I wanted to kind of wait until he kind of concluded his press run. It's looking like right now he's finished. He did Nadeska, he did Cameron, and now he did 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Carmelo Anthony. And, people have mixed reviews, of course, that's a given. And he's covered a lot of information. He's talked about a lot of different things. So we can touch on many of those different things that he discussed. So to start it off, I'm going to start with the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, the Carmelo Anthony podcast, because that's the one that came out today. To me, this was the best interview so far. I think that, ironically enough, even though they're not journalists, well, now Monica McNutt is a journalist. She was a part of the interview. But I didn't expect this interview to be this good. But this, to me, was the best one. Because J. Cole, he could be very long-winded and talk a lot and explain himself a lot. And in this interview, he didn't really do a lot of that. He just really got to the point. But before I get to that, let me just first say, I'm going to give my objective opinion, but my subjective thoughts on this, just like my personal non-journalistic viewpoints, is that J. Cole is a person where, first and foremost, people act like J. Cole committed a real crime. Like, people treat J. Cole as if he really genuinely hurt somebody, committed a crime. He did treason. Like, we do have to also remember that this is music. This is entertainment. This is art. And these are real people behind the entertainment, right? Like, these aren't just characters, like a WWE character, and then the real person is a complete different name. This is Jermaine Cole, J. Cole. This is him, his art, his expression, as well as it's supposed to be entertaining the fans, right? Both of those things exist, though. It's not just pure entertainment. It is also a real person behind this entertainment. And, I just think that from my conclusion to seeing people's reactions, to me, it's disappointing. I find it to be disappointing, distasteful. To me, I find it to be a lack of mental, emotional, spiritual capacity, to be honest. And that sounds like an attack on a lot of people's character, and it is. I think that moments like these, to me, reveal not whether you agree or disagree with J. Cole. It's not about that, but more so just about the lack of understanding human capacity. To me, it shows a narrow, limited ability of your thinking, right? You can disagree with J. Cole. You can agree with everything he says. I don't agree or disagree with everything he says, but you can agree with everything he says. You can disagree with everything he says. But I do believe that you should have the cognitive ability to be able to understand somebody's perspective, even if you don't agree. And to me, I've seen a lack of that. I've seen an eagerness and an excitement to just attack and slander and talk about his character as if he committed a crime or hurt somebody or a child or a woman. Like, we're talking about rap. We're talking about hip hop right now, right? And if anything, we're talking about him apologizing. We're not talking about him going too far or like him crossing the line. We're talking about him actually doing the opposite. But people talk about him as if he is like this terrible human being. It's actually insane to me. But I think from my conclusion, from people's reactions, not things he said, I'll get into that, but my conclusion based upon people's reactions is that J. Cole is a person where if you want to believe him and understand where he's coming from, you will. And if it's already made up in your mind that you don't like him, you don't care what he got to say, you disagree with him, it's nothing that he's going to be able to do or say that will change your mind. That's all I'm hearing. I'm not really hearing any objective understanding viewpoints where it's like, I don't agree with him, but I see where he's coming from. Or I wouldn't have done this, but I understand what he's saying, blah, blah. Like, that was, so first and foremost, he dropped 7-minute drill, mixed reviews, did the apology, got slandered. Time goes on, weeks go by. You see people some people understand it, some people don't. Some people like, I wouldn't have done it, but I understand, blah, blah. But I'm just talking about the reaction to these interviews from other podcasters I've seen. Like, the Joe Buddens. I've watched him for a while, but I vehemently disagree with his response to J. Cole and Cameron's interview. Terrible take. It was just a lack of mental capacity. It was just a lack of understanding completely. I've spoke about Company Man, whatever the channel's called. They got a show called Culture United. It should just be called Cole Haters United, and all of this is terrible to me. But bad journalism, and you can go look at my other videos where I talk about how bad journalism and media is, and some things that you need to keep in mind when you're listening to these people who are not trained professional journalists. So, my conclusion to people's reactions is that you either want to understand him, and this is human nature. Human nature is that it could be a right message, wrong message, or human nature is that you receive differently based upon how you feel about this person. Two people can tell you the same exact thing, but if you like one person, dislike another person, you will retain the information differently. So that's what I'm seeing with J. Cole, is that J. Cole, to me, in his interviews, let's get into the interviews now, he is exemplifying human nature, which is an emotional reaction. Oh, I did this. Then a logical reaction and a rationale. We all have that. We all have, whether I agree or disagree with some of the things that he's done or said, it is completely not hard at all to comprehend the fact that he is talking from the lens of an emotional reaction as well as a logical reaction. And he's just being honest and truthful in both of these things. And the truth is that I cannot tell none of us can tell somebody that what they are thinking or feeling is right or wrong. You can disagree with them. You say, I don't understand. I don't agree with that. That doesn't make sense to me, blah, blah. That make like you are more in your right. You're more than in your right lane to be able to critique somebody's opinion or critique somebody's stance or saying what they think or what they feel. You don't have to agree with everything that somebody thinks or feel. But with this situation where he's never putting himself out there as if he is right and everybody else is wrong. He's just saying, this is what I think. This is what I was thinking. This is what I feel. This is what I did. That is it. This isn't a situation of him like, I think this, and if you don't think this, you're dumb. Or I did this, and if you disagree with what I did, you're stupid. Right? I'm going to make another video on this, but LaRussell is doing that right now. Where LaRussell is saying, LaRussell did something publicly, like he made that heaven sent statement. And what he's doing now is saying, if you disagree with him or you don't get him, then you are dumb. He keeps going around making these videos and posts saying, y'all dumb, y'all stupid, y'all don't understand. Like, that is not, that to me, that's the completely wrong approach. But that is the opposite of what J. Cole is doing. What J. Cole is doing is saying, people have their criticism, their opinions on it. I'm not saying whether you're right or wrong on your opinion on me. I'm just telling you what I think and what I feel. And to me, that should be met with a attitude or ears of, okay, for sure. Like, I don't agree with you, but that's what you thought, that's what you feel. Okay, for sure. Like, I can't tell you that you're right or wrong for how you feel. The same way J. Cole can't tell people that they are right or wrong for how they feel or think about his decision to apologize. That is the hypocrisy here to me, is that people are contradicting, they are critical of his interview and saying like, oh, his answer here, his answer there, they didn't like what he said, X, Y, and Z, when he's just saying what he thought or what he felt. The same way these people giving opinions are saying what they think and what they feel. And these same people would be upset if you said, oh, what you saying don't make sense, or what you saying is stupid, or I don't care, oh, nah, blah, blah. They will feel offended, like, damn, like, huh? And I'm saying we can say that because we've seen it on podcasts. We've seen people give opinions on podcasts and then get upset at the fans' reactions to it, or get upset at people's stance on it, and get back up on there the next. So, oh, y'all stupid, y'all said this on Twitter, y'all can whatever. Like, so I don't understand that like, I think it is just such subjective viewpoint when you're only looking from the lens of, again, I perceive this as people are listening from the lens of, if they like J. Cole and they want to understand what he's saying, they are. If they don't like him, they don't want to understand. And I think that it is unfortunate, to be honest. I think that it is unfortunate the way that we are as a culture. I hate that word, but as a culture, treating a person as if they did something so terrible. I think that this is like it's a deeper situation, but like when you see Spotify put out a list of like, oh, who's going to be the next generation, X, Y, and Z, a part of the issue is media. A part of it is not even an artist issue. It's a listener issue. We have a real listener issue where people listen and perceive things in ways that are baseless and without merit, and they don't really get challenged because it is all opinions. Like, right. Like, you guys know I stand heavy on journalistic principles. So therefore, when you sit around a lot of people who is all pure opinions, obviously we all do that in our comfort of our home, in our group chats, whatever the case may be. But when these people have microphones and platforms and they're talking about stuff and they are a part of feeding into the narrative, and everything that they are saying is just subjectivity. I don't. It is, and to me, it's a way that you can tell is because you can tell how they disagreed with. There are podcasts who people that they disagreed with Jay-Z's take about there should be no more battling in hip hop. But the handling of how they're talking about Jay-Z, because they are subjective and they like Jay-Z or they're fans of Jay-Z or whatever the case may be, because they herald Jay-Z to a certain regard, they handle him and the way they talk about him with a certain respect or a certain standard, a certain grace, right? So even though they disagree with him, they talk about him with a certain manner because they have love for him and they like him and they don't want to talk about him a certain way. As a J. Cole, where it's like, oh, they don't like him, or they don't care, they don't respect him the same, blah, blah. So they talk about him any kind of way. And to me, that is where it is unfortunate because, I just think that it's counterproductive to hip hop and the genre. It doesn't mean that you have to agree or disagree with stuff that everybody does. It's more so just about, are you adding value? Is your opinion adding value? If you have a major platform or you're speaking, is the opinion that you're giving, is it adding any value to the stories and to the narratives? You get what I'm saying? That's, to me, are you giving more insight? Are you enlightening people? Are you informing people on anything? Are you giving a new perspective? Or is it just smear campaign? It's just hate, dislike this. I don't know. It's just bad, man. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to agree. So for the interviews, right? I don't agree with some of the things that J. Cole has stated, but that's his truth. Like, that is the truth that he has decided for himself. And I can't tell a man that they are right or wrong in their truth if that's what they think and what they feel. I can say I agree or disagree, but if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. You know what I mean? But some of the things that he said in the 7 p.m. interview, were very interesting. And he got into, we can start with first person shooter. And he talked about how initially Drake sent the song to Kendrick. Kendrick either ignored it or rejected it. And from there, Drake sent it over to J. Cole. And to me, this makes sense because on that same album, they had Evil Ways. So it looked like Drake was, trying to have Kendrick and Cole on that album. But Kendrick declined. So then he moved it on to J. Cole. And I can easily see why Kendrick would feel a way about that. Right. Like, this is an example. I don't agree with most of Kendrick fans at all. I like Kendrick, but his fans I don't like. It's just my subjectivity. But this is an example of, I don't fully agree with what he did, but I can completely understand it. Right. If I have an issue, I'm looking at it from the lens of, if I have an issue with a person, aka Drake, this person reaches out to me, I decline them, and then my homeboy, you go reach out to my homeboy and bring my homeboy along, and now you and my homeboy, y'all doing the Dreamville Fest, and y'all on tour together, and y'all on a song together, and then y'all on stage, oh, you the best, you the best, you the best. I can understand. Y'all got a bromance. It's looking to me like, oh, it's y'all two over there and me over here. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna send shots. Like, that's easy for me to understand that Kendrick would feel that way. And the reason I say this is because I don't even think that Kendrick was more so offended by the bar about Muhammad Ali, because J. Cole for years has been saying he's the best rapper alive. His whole feature run was him saying, I'm the best rapper alive. He was literally on songs with guys like Lil Yachty saying he called, asked for a feature. He saw the face of death. He literally on features saying I'm killing all these rappers on their own songs. He's literally on this song with Benny the Butcher saying y'all lying about drugs and gun bars, and Benny is a drug and gun bar rapper, right? So, and J. Cole has also said on January 28th that you might be Drizzy Drake or Kendrick Lamar, but check the birthday, you ain't him. I ain't gonna call him a god, but that's what he called himself. And then he, even on Heaven's EP, he said the similar thing, like, oh, people put me behind Drake and Kendrick, but I'm still one of the best, blah, blah. So it's like he said that sentiment of statements before and Kendrick didn't feel away. I think it is more so the optics and the storyline. And if you put it in the context of like, you are my homeboy, if we hear it from J. Cole, because J. Cole said Kendrick was on 2 joints, plus Kendrick was on the Revenge of the Dreamers, plus Born Sinner, right? So if him and Kendrick have this bond of relationship, and then Kendrick is like, now it looked like you're over there with this dude who I don't get along with, especially this dude who just sent me this song. I declined it. Now you go hop on it. Now it's really just looking away. I don't like the optics of this. I can see why he felt away easily. So I think that really is a pivotal part. And I think that maybe when Kendrick says, did Cole foul, I'm pure speculation. But I believe that maybe that could be something to do with that. Like, oh, J. Cole didn't know that Kendrick was involved in this song at first. And then so now it looked like, oh, you was, that was supposed to be my song. Then you hopped on it and you said X, Y, and Z. So yeah, now I feel away because we supposed to be cool. I get that for sure. 100% get that. That was interesting. People feel away about him saying that he didn't say that he is or isn't the best rapper alive. But to me, this is an example of if J. Cole, basically they asked him, does he think he's the best rapper alive? His answer was kind of, sort of. He basically said he thinks that he is sometimes and he's capable, but he also knows that there are other people that like Black Thought or Lupe or Drake and Kendrick who are also capable at any given moment of being the best rapper alive. And that makes sense to me because, sorry guys, but that makes sense because J. Cole could put out First Person Shooter, and at that moment, he feels like the best rapper alive. Like, he feels that way, and us as fans, we're like, oh, J. Cole the best. And then Kendrick drops like that, and it's like, oh, Kendrick the best. So I can easily understand why somebody may feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm the best. But I also know there's other people out there that they do stuff, and it gives me a run for my money. So it's hard to definitively say who's the best. And that's how I feel about Cole, Kendrick, Drake, X, Y, and Z. Like, I think I have my personal favorite, but it's hard for me to say, like, I like Cole the best, but I can't definitively, without shadow of a doubt, say he's better than Kendrick. Because at any given moment, Kendrick could drop a verse that's like, dang, he smoked that. And then Cole could drop a verse like that, right? So I understood his answer. But it's like, imagine if J. Cole would say, yeah, I'm the best rapper alive. People would have killed him for that. But he didn't say that. He basically said, sometimes I feel that way, sometimes I don't. People killing him for it. And it's like, that's my point of the subjectivity, where it's a listener issue, where there's no right way for J. Cole to answer that question. No matter how he answers that question, people are going to have something to say. So that kind of is the premise of what my whole video is in regards to, well, my takeaway is that it's like, he's damned if he do, he's damned if he don't. It's nothing that he's going to be able to say, and you're never going to be able to satisfy everybody. But he's in a situation where there are so many people who already have a preconceived notion of what they think or feel about him. So no matter what he does or says, they're going to take issue. And I just think that's where it's like lame to me, because if we're supposed to be a genre and all the narratives are counterproductive, I just feel like that's silly. That's lame. That's weird. I don't understand that at all. It doesn't matter to me it could be Big Sean. Like, I'm not going to like just continue to kill everything Big Sean says. I don't like Tyler, the Creator. I've said it in my past video. I don't like his music. And he's done plenty of things that people, with his tweets and different actions, that I could make videos about and go in on them. But it's like, I don't really like, I'll give my opinion. Yeah, I didn't like that, whatever the case may be. Or Ola Russell said this. I'm not feeling that, X, Y, and Z. And this is what I think, X, Y, and Z. But I'm still going to talk about them with a certain regard and respect for the genre and the culture of hip hop, and because they're artists. And I don't expect perfection from nobody. And I'm also going to talk about them in a way that adds value to the conversation, where it's like, well, maybe look at it from this lens or think about it like that. Or it's like, oh, LaRussell, you said what? I didn't really agree with your sentiments. maybe you just needed to execute the lyricism more, right? I'm gonna come from that lens as opposed to, man, F him, he lame, he corny, and that's what I'm hearing. It's like, huh? Like, come on now, like this is just y'all trying to get stuff off. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's weird. But the first person shooter story was great. I thought he answered it to the best that he could with the best rapper alive, because I don't really know the right answer to that. I don't think there is a right answer. And then as well as the other stuff that he touched on about, he debunked a lot of stuff, talking about the Schoolboy Q situation was fake, where people say that Schoolboy Q warned him. And he's saying that he still feel the same way about Drake and Kendrick. And he talked about him wanting to bring both of them out for Dreamville Fest. So to me, that sounds like a person who he genuinely didn't know that there was anything going on, and then he got involved and realized, like, oh snap, I'm in something that I didn't really foresee myself getting into, and this don't feel right. Whether I agree or disagree, like, I don't agree that he should have made the song in the first place. I disagree with that. I feel like he shouldn't have made it in the first place. But can I understand a human doing something and then easily being like, oh, I don't like that. That didn't sit right in my spirit? 100%. Like 1,000%. And to me, why I think J. Cole is like breaking the simulation right now is because people are so used to celebrities and rappers walking around with this persona and bravado about them, where it's like you ask them a question and it's rather, J. Cole does talk. He's super long-winded. He talks too much, but he's giving his honest opinions on how he feels. And we're used to seeing, I think what we're not used to seeing is somebody say their truth and also show it in his actions, which is that he's saying it and then his action was, I apologize and took it down. I'm not just talking about it, I'm doing it as well. And we live in a time where so many people are just used to saying stuff like mental health and woke and peace and choose your peace and therapy and woo. Everybody's used to saying these things, but the action, seeing somebody do it, makes you uncomfortable because you just talk about it. But when you see somebody actually exemplify it and do it and have integrity, because integrity is, I'm choosing myself, my principles over the fame, over the entertainment of the world. That is what integrity looks like. That's like, to me, that's honorable and commendable, right? Even though I disagree with him making a diss in the first place, it is, to me, integral and honorable that a person can say, hey, I did something, but this don't sit right with me, so I'm not going to fake it to the world. To me, that is what selling your soul is. That is what you're doing it for the culture or for the entertainment sake. You're just selling your soul for the sake of the people, and you don't really feel that way. And we're so used to seeing people do that in entertainment. We're so used to seeing people get on interviews and, yeah, it is what it is. I stand on bit, whatever. And they don't really feel that way. We're so used to seeing people try to be cool all the time and not be vulnerable and honest and try to keep an image that it's uncomfortable almost when you see somebody like J. Cole who's talking and just being truthful. And he's even showing when he makes sense, when he don't make sense, even when he's contradicting himself, even when he is talking too much, even when he's saying stuff that's like, ooh, I wish you didn't say it. Like, I wish he didn't say the part about his wife crying. Like, because it's the internet. The internet is just going to cook you for that. But it's truth to him. That's really how he feels. That's his real experience. And we're just not used to seeing that. We don't really get this from most people. I can't really think of another artist. I'm sure there are, but I can't think of one right now that we see them go on interviews and they're not just like trying to sell you something like, oh, I'm trying to sell you an album, or I'm trying to keep this persona, or I'm trying to act tough, or I'm trying to, whatever the case may be, right? Like, I just think that he is breaking the simulation in the sense of, hey, I'm being real. I'm being honest to me. I'm telling you, and I'm doing the action because I showed you what action looks like by taking the apology. I mean, by taking the diss down. I'm not just speaking upon it. And which, again, I think that's a problem we have in society, and especially with media and podcasts and X1Z. Everybody talks a big game, but when it comes down to it, if you had to evaluate these podcasters and media, if you had to evaluate their character and their morals and what they've done, like who they are, what they've done in their life, if you had to evaluate that, I don't even think you would respect or value most of their opinions, if I'm being honest. Like, especially when it comes from other rappers. Like, I don't really care to hear what Eric Snow got to say about LeBron James. So I don't really care what I see, like a Mickey Fax and Consequence. I just seen them do a new podcast, or a Glasses Malone. It's like, I don't really care to hear what the D level rapper got to say about the A level rapper. I don't, because y'all all had the same goal, and he achieved it, and he's better than y'all. So who, like, you can, I just don't really care to hear what, like I said, the G League player got to say about LeBron James. Me personally, like, I don't care here, but that's a tangent. But again, the simulation part to me is that telling you and also doing the action and not compromising and not just saying what people want to hear or not just doing what people want to see him do, standing on his own integrity. And to me, why I say is breaking the simulation is because no matter what you think about him, he's doing it. He did it with Nadeska, Cameron, and he did it with 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, and I'm sure he's gonna do it again. The same way he did the apology, he's gonna continue the same way he want to ride a bike. The one mistake he ever made was doing something like make the diss that wasn't really true to him, which is why he's in the situation. But everything else is like he's gonna do what he want to do. If he don't want no features on his album, he ain't gonna do it. And that's another thing. I saw Joey Badass say, J. Cole don't X1Z. He's scared of people like JID to have him on his album when J. Cole literally has 3/4 songs with JID, whole Revenge of the Dreamers tape. He literally did a song with Daylight and Absol. He got 2 songs with Kendrick, song with Drake. Like, he's up there with his other peers and competitors. He also, guess who else he got a song with? Joey Badass. So I'm just like, I don't even, like, it's just stupid. But nonetheless, the simulation breaking to me is because he's doing this, and on the internet it seemed like, oh, people hate him and woo wop bam, but he did 300K first week. He went gold in a month. He just sold 800,000 pre-sale tickets. He broke records in 18 markets. Like, that's insane. So, like, if you just heard the podcast and Twitter, I don't even got Twitter, but if you just saw the online stuff, you would just think, oh, he's terrible, he's washed, he's X, Y, and Z. When in reality, in real life, in real outside, you saw what his album sales did first week. You saw what it did in a month. You see the pre-sale tickets. You see the stadiums selling out. You see these things, or the arenas. So it's like, I commend it. Although, again, I don't fully agree with everything he's done or said. I just think that we have to, as a genre and culture, when you're speaking upon these people that you claim to, you know what I mean? I just feel like we got to treat it with more respect and add more value to it. But I think he needs to keep doing what he's doing. I do think, he could, I don't think he needs to keep addressing it, but at the same time, it's like, he's not asking himself these questions. The interviewers are, right? Like I saw Joe Budden say today on his podcast that, oh, it was corny and lame how he didn't want to talk about the Diddy situation. He's like, oh, if you wanted, because J. Cole basically said he wanted to tell the story, but he felt like it's a bad time because of what Diddy is going through. And Joe Budden was like, oh, well, you've been had time to say it if you wanted to say it, blah, blah. And again, if there's a journalist in the room, it don't even got to be a journalist. Just some common sense to say, okay, Joe Budden, tell me another interview where somebody asked him about the Diddy fight then. There's not another one out there. Like that's just common. But again, that is just you having that eagerness to try to pick apart whatever it is that he's saying, as opposed to thinking to myself like, dang, well, actually, I don't even know. He don't do interviews, and ain't nobody ever asked him about it. So I guess this is why he's addressing it right now, right? So I'm like, man. But the Cameron interview, I thought it was okay. I thought Cameron answer questions was it was okay. I thought he asked decent questions, but he didn't do a lot of following up. But also, J. Cole was kind of just so long winded that I understand it. But and with him sitting with Nadeska as well, like he's kind of said the same things, like, oh, he decided like an hour beforehand, or he to apologize, and he made the diss because he was like scared of if he didn't do anything, what people would say, blah blah. And I just think he's just being honest and truthful. And I think that it's just good that you get to hear from him. Like, he's not running from it. He's not shying away from it. He's not hiding it. He's not like did it and then went away into hiding. He did it. He then made another album. He's going on interviews addressing it. Like, I just feel like, what more do you really want? You know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't agree. Like the Dell Curry analogy he made, I thought that was a mistake. I don't think he should have done that. That was not a good analogy to me. But overall, like I just don't understand. I think it's, when I say forced hate, I'm saying forced hate from the lens of, I think it's just people who don't want to understand him. I think that what he did was honorable, commendable. I think that the way he articulates himself, despite it being long winded, I find it to just be true and genuine to himself. And I think he just shows real human emotions of, oh man, Cameron, when I first saw the lawsuit, I'm like, man, get out of here, Cameron. And then I thought about it, like, you know what? I did give him the runaround, right? Like, to me, that's just normal human nature. And I feel like if you deny the duality of humans, then you just don't want to hear anything he has to say at this point. You know what I mean? So, uh, yeah, I don't know. I would be if I was him, bro, just go rock out, go kill your shows, go sell out more X, Y, and Z. And nobody's perfect. That's my. It's just like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I haven't seen a lot of people who give an opinions where they're adding value. I think Rob Marketing has. He did an excellent job. I think Rosenberg and Ebro did as well. Rosenberg has for a long time, ever since it first happened. But again, if you've ever been in a position, I don't know, me as a journalist, like I've been in positions where I've done things or said things and I put things out into the world and it didn't feel good to me and I wanted to take it back and I did take it back. It's just I'm not famous. Like, oh, I deleted this article because I didn't like that, or I took this line out of the article. It didn't feel right to me to put that in there, right? And it's not as juicy or entertaining because I'm not a famous rapper, but this is a human thing. People like, and if you've never done that, if you've never done something and then it didn't sit right with you later, or you regretted it or whatever, uh, I don't even know what to tell you. I couldn't. I just drew a blank. It's because I would have a hard time believing that somebody has never changed their mind about something, right? Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think this shout out to J. Cole. Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to sell out these tickets, sell your album, make good music, speak your truth. And, people going the thing, I will say this, it comes with the territory. He is one of the biggest artists in the world. So it's the big leagues. People going to praise you and critique you. That's just how it goes. And he got to take that. Like, there's no way around it. He has to take the praise and the criticism. But I'm more so critiquing people's reactions that are seemingly to me just subjective, emotional, judgmental, and it's like their mind is already made up. There's nothing he can say. He's like, damn it if he do, damn it if he doesn't. But again, in conclusion, outside of what I just said, I thought the story on First Person Shooter was good. The Schoolboy Q rumor getting cleared up. Even the Diddy situation, even him talking about, wanting, speaking to both of them post the battle, the fall off being 10 years in the making, all of these things. I thought all of these things were cool and dope to speak about. I thought the 50 Cent thing was cool, where he said he almost signed a 50 Cent, but 50 Cent didn't really know what to do with him. All of that. I thought it was a lot of gems in regards to just like information that people could take away from this. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think J. Cole. Just let me know what you think. I'm going to leave it an open floor. You guys let me know what you think. I know it's going to be a zoo in the comments. You can agree with me, disagree with me. We can argue in the comments. Let's do it. But whatever you do, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, guys.